Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Ashley, today you want to talk about smoking meats?
Yeah, not meth, meat.
Smoking meat, not meth. I almost said it the opposite way. And anyway, we want to talk about smoking meat this morning.
Yeah.
And
We're getting into barbecue season.
barbecue season, the weather's warming up. Baseball, football, everything's coming up. Draft. I think the draft is this weekend. It starts
Yeah.
this weekend. So we're going to party it up.
Yeah, and weddings,
And
graduations.
weddings, graduations. It's exciting.
Except we don't have any graduations.
Not this year.
This year.
Not this year. I don't think so.
Oh.
But
I think we got a couple years.
we're teaching our sister-in-law how to smoke meat our way.
Yeah.
And we thought we might want to do a show so we can tell you guys about one of the greatest joys that we have in our life, just smoking meats and
and
drinking coffee.
And I think she's already pretty good
Oh, yeah.
at smoking meats. I know she makes some killer chicken wings. I don't even know how she makes them,
I was just getting ready to say that.
unless I don't know if they're in the oven or the smoker or what, but they're good. They're really good.
I absolutely agree. We haven't had much time to really dig in this season, but last season we did a lot of barbecue, and the season before that we did a lot of barbecue. But
Man, the price of meat is ridiculous.
yeah, and another reason why we haven't gotten a whole lot of use out of our smoker is because it's huge. And it's a pain in the ass to set up. It's a pain in the ass to clean up.
Yeah, I think cleaning it is the worst. Like, man, if you could pay somebody to do that,
Yeah.
then it would be
It used to
easy.
be. It used to be when we go to do smoked meats, I would do all of it. I would do from, except for the seasoning part of the meat. I would get the smoker out, get it going, and you would prepare the meat, and then I would smoke the meat. I would also clean up, and
Yeah. Well, and we also used to have a smoker that was just like your traditional smoker that looked like a grill where, you had the grate inside. And so you didn't take that piece out and clean it, because it was seasoned and all that. And
And
then
we also
switched.
we also left our other one outside. And so we got an electric smoker. And for anybody out there that does smoke your own meats, everybody will tell you, electric smokers are cheating, or
I mean, they're convenient.
I agree. I agree. And that's why
Especially if
we
you
have one.
Especially if you need to walk away for a little bit and go do something. You don't have to have somebody here to keep an eye on it for
Yeah,
short amount of time.
essentially, it takes the learning curve out of it. I think anybody can cook. Anybody can cook. And as a matter of fact, anybody can smoke meat. But to do it well is a different story. And I learned a few years ago that you really know how to cook some ribs.
Well, and like I know growing up, my dad always smoked meat. Like, but you've seen my dad's smoker.
Yeah.
It's massive.
Yeah.
I think it's probably a little too big.
Yeah.
Because sometimes he'll put like, some, what are those? Zucchinis. He'll
Oh,
put
those
like
are good.
zucchini just on this big giant smoker, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So
I think it is a little too big to maintain heat.
yeah.
And that's a big problem with smoking meat, is being able to maintain heat without giving your meat too much heat.
Yeah.
And so that's why we went with electric. We had a offset smoker at one point we had borrowed from your dad, and I tried smoking meat in it, and I ruined a $70 chunk of meat. And at that point I was like no longer experimenting. I stopped trying to learn.
We haven't cooked a brisket
And-
since.
Right. And
Or
so-
smoked a brisket since.
So it really upset me that I couldn't get going, that I couldn't get the smoker going the way I wanted to. And then I did some research about smokers and the reason why it may not have been working. It was just getting too hot, and then I would have to let the fire go a little bit and cool it down, and then it'd get too cold.
Yeah.
And then it kept doing that. Well, those type of smokers that we had didn't seal real well. And so there was wind going in there,
Yeah.
stoking the fire or putting the fire out, or, moving the smoke too far. And so I wanted to try it again with electric. And so we got on Amazon. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have a whole lot of money to try this out, it's okay because we don't either. And we
Yeah.
didn't when we first started. It's a couple $100 on Amazon.
Yeah, but man, did we got our money's worth like
We
10
used,
times over. With
yes,
that
we used that
smoker.
smoker for 5, 6 years before we got another one, and it still worked when we got rid of it. Masterbuilt is the brand that we got, and it really did a good job. But one of the things that I don't do that I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to clean the inside of that smoker, but I don't do that. I figure if it just gets too bad and starts sticking to
start
the food,
over.
we'll just throw it away and start over. Because the one that we have now is less than $200. The smaller ones are like 180.
Yeah, and the one we have now is like, I don't know, 4.5 feet tall, probably.
Yeah, but it was on sale.
Yeah.
And so I got a really good deal on it from Amazon, but I think the smaller ones are like 180, 190 bucks, something like that. And it's Masterbuilt's the brand. And you can go.
Well, no, I thought the one we have is a.
No, it's Masterbuilt.
Oh, I thought it was a. Or no, our grill's a Weber.
Yeah, the grill is a Weber kettle grill, and that's my personal favorite. When we're grilling food, on the gas grill, it doesn't take on as much smokiness as on the charcoal grill. And so I really prefer the charcoal grill, but a lot of people are going to probably think this is nasty. I like that. The
The
fluid
taste.
taste,
Of the,
yeah. The lighter fluid. And I like the taste of that lighter fluid that it puts on your meat, and it's strange. I know, but that's,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just enjoy it. And when I think of a steak, I think of charcoal flavor.
Yeah, well, we're due for a new grate for a grill. Probably a new grill
Yeah,
altogether.
the grill's falling apart. I backed into it with a lawnmower the other day and dust went everywhere. It was terrible. And
And the legs probably went,
it's exactly what happened. It goes, me.
Yeah, because when I went to do, what did I cook the other day? Burgers
Oh, and then
on it.
ashes are falling out the underneath side of it, going everywhere.
Yeah, like every time I clean it and I scrape the bottom out, like a chunk of the metal comes out with the compacted ashes, and then
And then you're like, please don't go on my food. Please
Well,
don't go on my food.
and I was out there like doing the burgers, and I was laughing because like pieces of the grate are like super thin to where it's like falling apart. And I was thinking of my dad when I was a kid because we went to Burger King.
Oh, no.
And got a Whopper, and my dad had a piece of the grill in his Whopper.
Oh, yeah, them grill brushes that people use. I've seen a lot of people say don't use those grill brushes because you'll get them
Yeah.
in your mouth, and
Yeah. And
Can you
so,
imagine? I've never had anything
Yeah,
like
so
that
I was
happen.
thinking about that when I'm like, oh, here I am cooking burgers and pieces of my grill are falling apart. Like, hopefully it's not one of the kids that gets a piece of the grill, but I think
Absolutely.
I tried to keep it, I tried to keep them away from the middle where it gets hotter and they're falling apart. So I cooked them more towards like indirect heat on the outside. So
And that's kind of the way we prefer our meat cooked anyway, because, well, going back to the smoking meats, we would, when we go to smoke meat, we prepare like 2 days before. We go and buy the meat. We season the meat. One of my favorite things to cook on the smoker is chicken breast for pulled chicken or shredded chicken. And that is really super easy because it's so quick. You go and I think our smoker will hold like 40 pounds of chicken breast. Now that's a lot of chicken breast, so don't go and do this unless you're going to feed 100 people.
well, it'll hold 12 whole chickens.
Yeah, it'll hold 12 whole chickens or 12 slabs of or no, not 12 slabs, but 8 slabs of ribs and whole slabs.
And I think it holds 8 pork butts.
Yeah. Yep, 8 pork butts and 12 chickens.
Yeah. Like who
And
needs a smoker for 12 chickens?
Right. When you're trying to cook for a big crew, though, it really comes in handy, especially with that chicken. I can cook enough food for 100 people, just chicken breast in 4 hours, 5 hours. I mean, you give me that enough time, 4 or 5 hours, I can cook for 100 people
Yeah.
with chicken breast. Now, if it's got to be something other than chicken, it does take longer because it takes longer to get the food up to temp. That our smoker only go up to 275 degrees, which is too hot for smoking, in my opinion. But you know,
Well, and I like chicken breasts are like so easy. Like even like yeah, you could take your chicken breasts and you can just throw them in there and smoke them.
you
and like
think
be
it's
done.
easy, but a lot of people think chicken's one of the easiest things to screw up.
But like we go through the whole process of like we brine our chicken breast. Well, we take it out of the package and then we wash it.
Yeah.
We brine it.
Not by washing it. We don't mean
we don't use soap
use
and
dish
water.
soap or anything like
We
that. We
rinse
rinse
it.
them with water.
And then, we brine it and then we take them out of the brine and rinse them again.
And in my opinion, that's the secret with the chicken is the brine.
Yeah.
And,
well, that's
and then
what
the seasoning.
Well, that's what keeps them juicy. Chicken breasts are a natural dry meat.
Right.
And then we just use barely a little bit of my barbecue rub on them, not much, and then they're good to go.
I have another little secret with chicken, and with chicken breast specifically, I sometimes overcook it, and sometimes I'll do that on purpose, depending on how small the breasts are. But I like that smoky flavor with chicken.
Well, and it's nice too, like if you're doing like, shredded chicken and you get that hard smoky piece in
Yes.
there on your sandwich, like
And that's what I'm going for
Yeah.
ultimately is that crusty chicken and it's not in every bite,
you just,
obviously.
you just don't want to have a sandwich of, all soft chicken. You want some
Right.
crunch in there too.
The secret to my chicken, for those of you who love my chicken, and I know there's a few of you out there, the secret to my chicken is when we are cooking the chicken in the smoker, we have a water pot or water pan in the smoker with the chicken, and all the drippings from the chicken as it's cooking fall into that pan. And when it's done, we bring it out. We check the temperature, obviously, make sure it's good temperature, safe temperature. And then when the chicken comes out, take some of that water and pour it right into the chicken. Not too much because you will oversaturate the chicken. But just like a cup over 30 pounds or so, that should work.
Yeah. And like if we cater, we have our bain maries that we put it in, and then so it doesn't dry out with the heat
For people that don't know, can you explain what a bain marie is?
Okay, so I didn't even know what a bain marie is when you were throwing around the term bain marie, but it's basically a small steam table.
I didn't either. I didn't know
So,
what it meant. I didn't
like
know
when I
what it
tell
meant
people like,
either.
oh yeah, I own 2 bain maries, they look at me like,
What the hell is that?
I got a horn growing out of my head.
Right, right.
But
It's one of those it's one of those things that I didn't know the name of it either until we went to go buy them. And was it May or April 2022?
yeah, it
We
was the
had it.
year Caleb graduated.
Yeah,
Well,
it was
was it?
April-ish. Yeah, 2022. Yeah. So we were getting ready to do a graduation party for our oldest son and his cousins. And so we were going to cater everything, and we were doing this at a place that didn't have serving, like serving tables or steam tables. It didn't have anything like that. It had an oven.
Yeah, it just had a very tiny little prep
Right.
kitchen.
So I wanted something that we could keep the food in to keep it hot the whole time. That way, the whole time we were there, if anybody's hungry, just go over and get food. And we cooked a lot of food that day.
Well, there was a lot of people there that
Not
day.
that day, but for that day. And so I forgot where I was going with that.
Well, the bain maries,
Yeah.
we had them set up
Thank you.
for that. Yeah.
So the bain maries, when I went to go buy them, that's when I learned what they were. And I had no idea what they were. I just Googled what I was looking for. Electric steam tables is what I was looking for. And the reason being is because we couldn't have the ones with the fire under them, with the chafing
Yeah.
pots. That's what those are called or something like that. Chafing dishes.
Yeah.
We couldn't have those. We couldn't have anything with direct fire or anything like that, but we could have electric. And so that's what I was looking for was electric steam tables. And then on Amazon, that's when those popped up. Bain Marie. And
So is Bain Marie the brand? Is that?
No. So Bain Marie is actually just basically a double boiler.
Oh.
And just a large double boiler. Now we can look that information up because I'm probably wrong, but that's essentially what I took it as, is just a really fancy big double boiler.
Yeah.
And they're called Bain Maries because it's like the water sits in there and steams up from there. But I'm not really entirely too sure on that. Like I said, I didn't know what they were until a couple of years ago, and then we bought them, and then
Yeah.
and they're really cheap too. They were less than $200.
Well, and like, I come from a restaurant background, and I didn't even know what they were. Like, I knew what a steam table was.
Yeah, and they're just, well, when you go to a place and they have catered food and they give you those full pans, is what they call them, and that's what our Bain Maries will hold, is it 2 half pans.
Yeah.
And they're really nice. They look like,
They're really deep.
yeah, they look like, you remember school. When you're in there, they have those long steam tables. They use half and full pans for those. So that's immediately what I thought of, was like a cafeteria. It's not,
Yeah. Yeah, because I would like to get the full pans to fit them.
Yeah, and so I'd like actually to get the full steam table as long as this, and it's like $1,200, but it does the same thing as the Bain Marie's, but also it has a cold side.
Yeah.
So I would like to have that. That would be really neat.
Well, and like
because-
even our Bain Marie's, like you could put ice in them because they have a drain
yeah.
in them.
You
So-
could. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I mean, they're made for heat, but they could be used for cold. Yeah. So what do you like specifically about cooking food in the smoker?
I mean, like probably what I like the most is people's reaction to it when they eat it.
Yes.
Like I don't think I've ever had a bad reaction. Like,
No.
oh, this is terrible. And I mean, so I hope people are honest when they say it's good.
I've had some embarrassing moments
So-
with my smoked meat.
I mean, like I was disappointed, like, cause I've never, like, so I perfected those ribs for my niece's
Yeah.
wedding.
And we
like
haven't
they were
had 'em that way
wonderful, and I
since.
haven't been able to get them that way since I made them. And I'm like, what did I do so different?
I don't know. I wasn't home for any of that. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, maybe you need
Because
to leave the next time I do ribs.
you cooked them all. You had prepared the meat. You had, like, the only thing I did was went and got the meat. That was it. But the best damn ribs I ever had in my life.
Yeah, like
And-
literally, like you could have pulled the bone.
And I only got
right out
one of them.
Yeah, like a 90-year-old man said that they were the best ribs he ever had in his life.
Amen.
And so, and they were like delicious, and they disappeared like super fast.
And,
But I
so
just
we
can't-
didn't even make enough for the full party. Like what our thought was, we had X amount of this meat, X amount of that meat, put it together, we have loads of meat.
Yeah, because my dad had actually smoked the majority of the meat for the wedding, and I thought, oh, I'll do, 8 racks of ribs or whatever, and yeah, they disappeared.
I'd have to say
Very quickly.
my favorite part of cooking the meat as well, or smoking meats as well, is the reactions that we get out of cooking it. Now, we do cook for ourselves on occasion, not often anymore because we have such a big smoker, but we do cook for ourselves sometimes. But the reaction that we get even out of our kids is just like, it's enough to make me want to do it again and keep doing it.
Yeah, well, and I like when you get like a text message from somebody saying, hey, I got this going on. Do you guys think that you can make your chicken or your pulled pork or whatever for,
And we love doing that. So if you're one of those people that asks us, don't hesitate, because we love doing it. But if you're one of those folks that wants to try to learn how to do it on your own, we are not stingy with our recipes.
No, like I got my rub recipe from a coworker several years ago, and some little tips and tricks and secrets and stuff like that, like things I didn't even know.
Oh, no, I didn't like the silver skin on the back of the
like,
ribs.
I didn't know that. I
Me
didn't know
either.
you should take that off. That was like a barrier for
Mind
your
you,
flavor.
We were kids when we learned this, so
And
we were in
so-
our 20s.
Like why would I not share that with somebody else?
Absolutely.
You
Back in the day when our grandparents, were saving back recipes of grandma or great grandma, the reason why they did that is just to have something that they had that nobody else had. And our cooking's not that special.
Yeah.
I do like my cooking. I love my cooking. Joe's Kansas City blows our smoked meats out of the water. Oh my goodness. It's so good.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna like toot our own horn here. I haven't had a place in town
No,
that tastes better than what we
Nope.
make.
not here in town. Now our chicken, the chicken breast, the shredded chicken, I've never had anything anywhere that could come close to that. The only place that I could come closer, could compare to, is this little place in it was oh man, I don't even remember the name of the dang place now, but it was in Olathe, Kansas. I can't remember the name of the place, but anyway, it's a really good place, and they had the same style of chicken. It was really good, but it wasn't smoked as long as mine. I think it was smoked in the kitchen or
Yeah.
something. But the reason why I tend to overcook that chicken is to get it a really smoky flavor, and then I know I can bring it back with the moisture. And if I can't, then there's plenty to go around.
Well, and it's really good too, like to just like you can even freeze it.
Yeah. Yes. And
So-
it makes great nachos. It makes great, like, what do you add
We put it in
shredded chicken
salad.
to? Salad, chicken salad makes
Yeah.
good chicken salad. We've done a lot of stuff with it that we just, for like 3 days that we ate it that one time, we had quesadillas.
Oh yeah.
That was awesome.
Barbecue chicken quesadillas. Yep.
And so that the reactions is what I like too, and the amount of time it takes to smoke some chicken or smoke some pork. The amount of time that it takes to do that is a labor of love. So when it's all said and done, when you're eating it, at the end of the day, after you've done cleaned up and everything, it's just mouth watering. It's so good.
And I like, I guess I like making the rub too, because even though the majority of the ingredients I have for the rub, I learned from somebody else.
Do you know your rub off the top of your head?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's have it.
I mean, like as far as measurements, no, I measure with my heart, not with a spoon.
What do you use?
So I use brown sugar, kosher salt, not iodized salt. It's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Don't use iodized salt. So kosher salt, brown salt, Lowry's seasoned salt, paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, chili powder, pepper.
And then you spin it all up in a bowl and throw it at the wall.
There's something else. And a
We've
little
got it
bit.
written down.
I think I put a little bit of cayenne in there, but not a lot.
Meow.
But yeah, so there's like nine seasonings I put in there.
So almost like 11 herbs and spices.
Right. Yeah. But better than KFC.
So you got 9 ingredients in your rub. And so what else do you use on your rub? What do you use as binder to keep it on the meat?
I use stone ground mustard.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's another secret for you. Stone ground mustard
So-
on the meat.
You can use like regular yellow mustard or any kind of mustard you
Yes.
want. But honestly,
You like playing around in that
Well,
texture, don't you?
honestly, I'm not a mustard fan. Like,
I'm a mustard fan.
like mustard's okay. Like, but if I had like, if I was making a burger, I'm not putting mustard on it.
No,
unless
no,
it
no.
already comes with mustard. So when I was told like, hey, use mustard as a binder. So here I am staring at, Walmart in the aisle of condiments. And I'm like, man, I just don't want to use yellow mustard. I want something seedy. And so that's when I did stone ground mustard or like a deli style mustard. Not like Grey Poupon, or Dijon, don't use that. but like,
Now I can tell the difference.
Yeah.
We have used regular mustard and stone, and I can tell the difference. I can taste that mustard. Mm-hmm. I cannot taste the vinegar from the stone ground mustard.
well, and I think that's what it is about it is like, I don't like the vinegary taste of regular
Yeah.
mustard.
It's got a twang to it, and it belongs on hot dogs, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
You know?
And so I like the stone ground seedy
Or deviled eggs.
mustard.
Oh my goodness. I love deviled eggs. Speaking of which, we're going to have to try that with smoked meat. Like, take your little deviled eggs and make them normal and everything, and then put a little bit of smoked meat on top. That's killer.
Yeah. Well, and then like, you know how, so you asked me the other day, like when you're just like sitting there, like, what are you thinking about in your head? Like, and I'm like, nothing.
Yeah, that irritates me because I wish I could do
But
nothing.
sometimes I think about like, I wonder if I can smoke that. Not like smoke that, but like, like, I wonder if you can like smoke a pie, you know?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, and I've thought about the same thing. And as a matter of fact, I remember you saying that a while back. And I do the same thing sometimes. I wonder what that would taste like
Yeah.
smoked. But I've never really thought about like a pie. I've thought about like different cheeses that we could do.
well,
or,
like, because we did the cream cheese, the smoked cream cheese.
I didn't care for it,
Like-
to be honest with you.
So,
It tasted too much like candy to me. Like,
well, I think it's because we put like a sweet caramelized bacony onion thing
I
on
can
it.
see that. Yeah.
But I think if we had like a homemade pepper jelly, not a store-bought pepper jelly, like a homemade pepper jelly.
Jennifer, my sister, one time, was it Jennifer? They smoked some cream cheese one time. It's really good, right? Because that's where we got the idea, as a matter of fact, right? So so my sister was able to cook smoked cream cheese. My sister and her husband, and then when we tried it, we screwed it up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was a little too sweet. Because, I mean, like, I love cream cheese. Like, I could just go cut off a chunk
Yeah.
and eat it.
I like bagels and cream cheese.
Yeah. But, like, I really want to smoke a bologna.
Oh yeah.
Because I keep watching videos of people smoking bolognas, and they rub it down with mustard and rub and smoke it. And, I mean, it looks delicious.
You know what? I wish we had a meat slicer so we could smoke bologna and then slice it up for a sandwich.
Yeah. Like, 'cause
Like
it's-
a uniform thin. You know how I like bologna, not like a big
Yeah,
slab of
no.
bologna.
Yeah.
And you really get that. You could really get that smoked flavor from being sliced for a sandwich.
Yeah. Like, so, you know, I do watch a lot of other people, like, smoke food and see what they come up with. Like, because one of my favorite things to watch is smoking competition
Yeah,
shows.
you watch a lot of pit masters.
Love
and,
it.
And those type of shows. Now I don't, and I probably should, because I've ruined a couple, big things of meat before, and I fed some people some pulled pork that had too much smoke on it, and my tongue went numb afterwards because the creosote. Now, if you get too much smoke on your meat, it builds up what's called creosote, and that creosote is just a black, smoky substance. It can get sticky, It's like when you let a bunch of smoke sit there, and that's what happens is it makes this like tar shit, and you get that all over your meat, and it makes it bitter, smoky, and just awful. And it can taste good, but in this case, it did taste good, but it made my tongue go numb. So I was like, man, I ruined that whole pan of
Good
meat.
thing I got this Joe's KC barbecue sauce.
Right. Right. And it was family, so I wasn't too worried. I did let everybody know. I was like, hey,
I think
it's
I
not the
oversmoked
best, but it's still good,
Yeah.
We all ate it, and we're all still here. But ladies and gentlemen, don't over smoke because it's dangerous for your food. That stuff is a known carcinogen.
Yeah.
And so eating it probably isn't great for you, smoking it,
Yeah, because
ingesting
isn't it
and-
like an abundance of white smoke
yes.
out of your smoker is it's
Yeah, and
not
so and my sister-in-law brought that to my attention last weekend, and I've always known this. I just didn't think to like share it with anybody. So I didn't think to share it with her when she's cooking and everything, because I've had her smoked meat and it's great. I like you had mentioned her chicken wings. Love those chicken wings. I haven't had any chicken wings like since then, and that was like 12. When did we get married? Like 12 years ago?
Yeah, like 2014.
Yeah, no, so 10 years ago?
Yeah.
So we haven't had smoked chicken like that in about 10 years. And so those are really, really good. But I didn't think to share with her that you don't want a whole bunch of thick white smoke when you're smoking meats. And the only time I do that is when I first start the chicken breast is because it's not going to take up a whole bunch of smoke anyway, because it's only going to be in there for 2 hours. Yeah. And so the first blast, I give it just a bunch of white smoke and then let it. But you want a thin ribbon of blue smoke. You want to be able to see through that smoke. And so there you go. There's another tip for you. Blue smoke, not white.
Well, and one thing I'd really like to do in terms of smoking meat is I want a cold smoke.
Oh,
I want to try it one day.
Oh, yes. I would love to cold smoke some cheese, some
salmon,
beef. Oh, some salmon. I didn't even think about fish. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I watched a video of, I watched several videos of them cold smoking salmon. And I was like, I've never even had salmon like that. Like, I've only had salmon cooked, like, like in the air fryer or oven or whatever.
Well, even the salmon that we have in the packets, even that's cooked to, I mean, to be honest with you, the stuff you buy in the packets is probably cooked to ruination.
Well, and like Sam's Club, they have like the cold smoked salmon in the packet, like you can buy.
No.
And I want to try it.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it's over there by like the shrimp and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But it's, kind of pricey, but I mean,
I don't care.
it. But anyways, I like cold smoking salmon. And then like I had an old boss that he cold smoked sausage.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he was kind of telling me the process he had to go through. He's like, you got to wait for the right temperatures outside to do it. And
no, actually you don't. So you can.
Well, I think the way he did it, like you had to.
He might have a cold smoker. Now, like, so we could do it with just homemade parts. Like we can make our own out of a refrigerator, as a matter of fact. And I watched videos on how to make a cold smoker out of a giant refrigerator. Man, I've even watched videos on how to dry age a steak using a refrigerator, like an old refrigerator that no longer works. And so I even looked that up sometimes. Yeah. Like I think I'd like to have a nice dry aged steak, but I
wouldn't even know what that tastes like.
I don't trust myself. You don't know what it tastes like?
No.
Well, I don't know how to share it with you because I've only had one in my whole life and it was amazing.
Like I don't even know like what it would taste like, what the texture would be like.
It tastes
would it
like
be like
meat.
Canned meat?
No.
Oh.
No, like, you grilled meat. It tastes just like that. I mean, but it's got a cheesy flavor to it that you can only get by rotting meat.
So yummy.
it's good. One of these days you'll have to try it out, and if you don't like it, you can spit it out.
After I paid $60 for it or something.
No, it's more like 30. But unless you're going to like New York or something, you could pay like $120 or something like that up there. But
yeah, we should smoke some seafood, like smoke
shrimp,
lobster tail. Crab legs.
What we can do? We can look up, like after this show is over, we can look up what that looks like, tastes like. Hey, as a matter of fact, throw a little picture of smoked shrimp or something up there, whatever. If you can find one royalty free. I don't want to, don't want to ruin the channel, but we have done this for about 10 years now, is smoking meats and learning how to smoke meats. We're not professionals by any means, but we just love doing it. And with the weather warming up outside, and we got a wedding coming up next week or 2 weeks from now, or no, it could be three weeks from now. We got a wedding coming up. We're gonna smoke some meat and feed some folks, and with a smoker, and now if you got a small smoker, it still doesn't take much to feed an army.
Yeah.
You know, you can go out and spend $100 on chicken and feed like you can feed 100 people or more on $100 of
Yeah.
chicken. You know, like chicken. We'll just say chicken breast is like $2 a pound.
Yeah.
You know,
I always like the looks we get from people when we go pick up chicken breast.
yeah, like what on earth is going on here?
Yeah.
One time we went shopping for just we went shopping for like 6 months worth of meat, and there was a big meat sale, and there was I admit we look like assholes walking through the store with a cart full of meat, a cart full of sale meat. And it's just like, hey, you guys want to do this too? Get you a deep freeze. That's what we
Yeah.
did, you know. And we spent, well, I don't know, we spent $400 or $500 on 6 months worth of meat because it was on sale.
Yeah.
And we used to get looks like people stare us down and angry with it. But the most of the looks we got were, what are they cooking? You know, and or are they cooking for an army? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Those were the majority of the looks we got. I thought it was funny, but you know, it is what it
I
is.
just remember when we bought the chicken, because I think we had to go to a couple different stores to get chicken breast because one store was out and we had to go to
No,
another
it
store.
wasn't the chicken breast. It was the butts.
Oh, because we had that cart full and everybody was like looking at us at Hy-Vee.
I was able to find 3 Boston butts at Sam's Club, 4 Boston butts at Walmart, and I got 1 at Hy-Vee. So
Yeah.
we had 8 total, and yeah, that was a lot of pulled pork. I
Yeah.
think they were like 9 pounds a piece. And so I'll give you the secret to my pulled pork. I smoke it for not smoke. I cook it for like 12 hours. 12, 13 hours like that, something like that. And I only give it smoke for like the first 5, 6 hours.
Well, and we rub it and we refrigerate it for like at least 8 hours
Right.
in the rub.
Yes, at least. Now you can do 48 hours, up to 48 hours in the rub.
Yeah.
And we normally, we normally like to do just like 24 hours.
Yeah. I mean, like chicken breast is what you got to be careful with the brine because you
Yeah.
can't brine it for more than 4 hours.
Or,
They say
or
4
if
to
you
6,
do,
but
it takes on a real salty taste.
Yeah.
Because brine, salt water, obviously. And
Yeah.
your chicken will take on this real salty taste, and you don't want to have real salty
yeah.
chicken.
And that's why you want to rinse it too
Yes.
before you, or once you take it out of the brine.
Yes.
Pat it dry. Rinse it. Pat it dry.
But with our pulled pork, you know, we'll set the smoker on like 230-ish, you know, and we'll throw it in for 5 or 6 hours. Now, I don't have to pull open the smoker and spritz it down or anything like that
Mop it.
because, yeah, I don't have to do all that because we have that water pan under there and in this electric smoker, so we could just set it and forget it. It's insulated like your oven inside your house, and so set it, forget it, with the meat inside. Now, like, you have to add chips to it every now and then, but you should be able to see when it needs chips. But we let that internal temperature get up there like 175, 180, somewhere in there. And then what we do is we'll either stop adding chips in the smoker and let it go, or we'll bring it inside, wrap it with aluminum foil, and throw it in the oven. Finish it in the oven at like 250 until that internal temperature goes up, and let it rest before you shred it. And then that way it can have time to cool down, because you don't want to
Yeah.
grab a hold of that shit and
Well,
throw it in
'cause
there
it's got that bone in it too, and that bone is like
hot.
twice the temp of what the meat is.
And you're gonna when you see that bone, the first thing you want to do is you want to pluck it out of there, because it's after cooking for 12 hours, you don't even have to.
Yeah, it just comes right out.
So the meat just sloughs off the bone at that point. And so I've brought them out of the smoker where the I just pick it right up out of there,
Yeah.
and the meat just falls away. But most of the time, I don't think I've cooked a pulled pork to where I didn't pull the shoulder out of it with ease.
Yeah.
and it comes out clean every time. So,
Yeah.
but that's my trick with the pulled pork is I cook it a long, long time, and you don't have to put smoke to it that whole time. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't, because it will take on too much smoke on the outside, and the smoke isn't going to get into the meat any longer. And so at that point, all you're doing is just adding nastiness to your meat. And so you can stop smoking after 5-6 hours. It should be enough smoke. Wrap that shit in peach paper or butcher paper, or my personal favorite is aluminum foil, because aluminum foil doesn't allow the moisture to get out. And so we throw it back. We use the oven. I like the oven. That way you can get the smoker, you can get it all pulled apart and cleaned up and everything by the time dinner's done.
Yeah.
So that's the way I like to do it with the pulled pork. And we also do the drippings trick with the pulled pork as well. And that's not as so much for moisture, but for flavor, for the smoke flavor. Because I mean, just as long as your meat's been sitting in there smoking, so is that water.
Yeah.
And it's got all the drippings from the meat and everything. So, and you're going to always want to make sure that that's safe temperature before you put it in your food. If you have to, boil that shit.
Well, and then we're going to talk about smoker safety.
And through the magic of editing, we're back.
So you're talking about the drippings from pork butts. So I figured that's a good segue into talking about smoker safety.
Smoker safety. Let's hear it, because I wasn't very good at this a couple of years ago.
So step number 1 is
Put on quality footwear.
yes. So don't go out to your smoker in flip-flops or barefoot or just your socks.
I was in socks and flip-flops.
So smoker's very hot. Even when it's off, it's still very hot. Everything inside it's very hot. So Ricky here, we had been up all day smoking meat, and we were trying to finish up our pork butts. I don't even know if we did our chicken at that point.
Nope. We were pulling out the pork and getting ready to do the chicken.
Yeah, so it's about 10:30 at night on Friday night, and Ricky goes to remove the pan
Of drippings.
which our smoker's good size, so the pan is good size. Like, it's a very deep well, so it's kind of like, like it's flat and then it dips down.
Yeah.
And so he removes it, and it shifts weight and spills back on his foot, his sock only
Yeah.
foot, or sock covered foot.
I'm that idiot.
And so when that happens, he's in the yard flinging socks in the yard, and they're smoking. Like, I don't know if it got the other foot or not.
It got part of it, but it wasn't. I was able to get it off quickly, but.
And he's just screaming, and so my first reaction is to get a wet towel. Meanwhile, Caleb's trying to grab a dry towel, and I'm like, nope, we got to burn. We got to get something wet on it. And so
I'm screaming, rolling around in the yard and shit.
And so what'd you end up getting? 3rd-degree burns on your...
Second and 3rd-degree burns, mostly 3rd-degree. It was, so imagine dropping a pan of boiling water on your feet, and that's essentially what it was. The water temp was over 220.
Yeah.
And so it was the water temp was actually probably around 230, 240.
Yeah. He made a trip to the ER, but it was awful, and the wait time would have been over 4 or 5 hours.
And so I just came home.
It was like, you could sit in the waiting room and be in pain, or you can be at home and be in pain.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is how stupid this was. Now, this was my foot. I burnt my foot. And when I went out to the hospital, they had mentioned about going to a burn unit for my foot. And I was like, you take the damn foot. I'm not paying $300,000 for burn treatment for my foot. You can kiss my ass. I'm not doing it. I don't need it that bad. Yeah. And so,
well, it's not like it's your face. Like, if it scars, it's your foot.
Healthcare in America, ladies and gentlemen. But no, I was perplexed at what it was like. It does hurt, but I can see I can visually see that it's not, I mean, it's a spot about as big as, the palm of my hand on my foot. And it was burnt. And
And
I
it was
could
all
see
your
it,
toes.
right. I could see it bubbling and everything. And I knew it was going to scar, but I'm not worried about the scar. What I'm worried about is like, why does this hurt so fucking much?
Yeah.
So I told the lady, I was like, it's a foot. I don't need to go to the burn unit
Yeah,
for
because the
my
next
foot.
day you had went to urgent care
Yeah.
that morning because ER was not going to be an option.
And they tried to talk
So-
me into going to a burn unit too, but I was like, listen, I just need you to check it out, make sure my foot's not going to fall off or anything. We need to control infection and all that stuff. Other than that, I don't care. Like, it's going to heal up. I know it's going to heal up. I know there's going to be nerve damage, but listen, I don't want a big ass bill for a foot.
Yeah.
That's...
Well, and thank God for the invention of, what is it, Silverdine? Is that what it is?
I don't know. It's some kind of silver. It's some kind of ointment with silver in it. So
Yeah, thank God for that.
It sounds like the stuff Silverdine or something like
Yeah.
that. So what it is, it's a burn ointment with little pieces of silver in it, and when exposed to the air, it turns blue, and so
It like cools it and all that stuff, takes the heat out. And
oh man, it was amazing. It was really amazing for healing. It was really amazing for pain relief or itch relief. It was good stuff. So if you got to burn, Silverdine or Silver Cream, whatever the shit is. Anyway, yeah, that sucked. But
now we learn from that, and when we need drippings from the pan, we don't remove the pan.
right.
We have a scoop, like a cup, and we like scoop it out instead of taking the pan out. And none of us go around the smoker without having shoes on.
Yep. And some of us got to learn the hard way. I'm kind of dense like that.
Yeah. But it's a gnarly story to tell, and
It's a great story. Now looking back on it, it's a funny story. But like, I was trying to keep you guys calm through the whole thing, but yell,
Yeah.
because it hurt so friggin' bad. And I was like, ladies, gentlemen, I'm not dying. I had to holler out that a few times because Caleb was panicking, and
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not dying. I'm okay. Like, it hurts. That's why I'm screaming. It hurts. That's all. I'm not dead. I'm not dying.
well, and then like I told
I'm gonna be
Caleb,
okay.
I was like, we got to get this meat done. Like, I mean, like, this is for a huge party. Like, people are depending on this meat. We just can't stop because your dad almost burned his foot off. You
Right.
know?
And that's what I was worried about.
And that's what you said, like, because, I took you to the ER and then you sent me back home because you're like, I'm going to be here a while. And you were being a pain in the ass. And so
I didn't want to embarrass you, so I was like, go home.
I came home. I was like, we got to keep doing this meat. Like, we got to get it going, And Caleb was like, okay, like he was panicking. He's like, I don't know what we're going to do about dad, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, it's fine.
I'll be okay.
Like, we just got to get the meat in the smoker. And like, then you had me come get you, and then we got you in bed.
Yeah.
So like you could sleep and like try not to like worry about the pain. And then I think I was up till 6:30 in the morning with the chicken, like getting it going. And yeah.
But that's okay because we made it and we're all here and we learned and the graduation's over. We had other graduations the following year. And so I had a good time regardless.
Yeah.
But it would have been a better time had I not, tried to fry my foot.
Yeah.
But back to, smoker safety with... now that we've told that story, is there any other safety that you can think of other than burns, obviously?
Well, like I know like our smoker has the drip in the back for the grease.
Yeah.
That the pan catches it. So like you want to make sure something's back there because if you just let that go, that is slicker than snot.
Yes, I agree.
And so
Especially on wood.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so having something back there to catch that, and just
Use-
letting it completely cool down before you,
Yeah,
like we
use
always
your
leave the
hot
door
pan
open
holders.
and
when you're pulling that meat out, make sure you're protected from the heat, because that meat's going to be hotter than hell,
Yeah.
And I Really, when it comes to safety, like fire safety, that's a good one. With the electric smokers, you still have to worry about that because when you're putting chips in the smoker, you're putting it almost directly on top of a heating element. With ours, there is a little bit of stainless steel separating the heating element from the wood chips. Just the thinnest, just the thinnest stainless steel drawer is what separating the heating element from the chips, but you still have that fire risk there. So just be conscious of that. Soak your chips for about 30 minutes before you throw them in the smoker. I don't, but I'm an idiot. Really with safety, that's pretty much it. Now, like food safety is a big one, huge a huge part of smoking meat because you can cross contaminate really, really easy with the smoker, especially with chicken.
Yeah.
Now, when I'm messing with chicken, I don't mess with anything else.
Yeah. Like we always, like if we're doing two meats, we always do chicken last.
Yeah. That way we don't have, not only just for the cross contamination aspect, but because it takes less time to get the chicken, but you don't have when you're bringing the chicken out to load them up on the smoker, you got them out on the oven and you got all your trays sitting here and you're loading them up. You're slinging chicken shit and goo everywhere.
Yeah. Like I always put a barrier down. Like I put a barrier down and then like the big sheet pan, and then I start putting the racks on the sheet pan to like catch anything that may drip off of it. So
yeah, I worry about cross-contamination in the kitchen a lot because, like I've mentioned quite a few times during the show, I'm an idiot. And so I will do things that will make myself, like I'll make myself sick.
Yeah.
By unintentionally contaminating a cooking utensil after I've touched food and then make myself sick. That's a possibility. So food safety is a big one. Not only with preparing the food, but cooking the food as well. You want to make sure that your food is a safe temp before when you take it out. Shove a meat thermometer in there. You know, I think chicken's 185. I believe is safe temp. It's 165 to 185, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But safe temp for pork, I believe, is a different number. Safe temp for beef is a different number, and so Google that information. It takes like 30 seconds. Type it up in Google, safe temperature for whatever you're cooking, and make sure that after you cook it, that it is a safe temp for you and your family or whoever you're going to be serving to. And also, I worry about, since we've done events and things for a family, I worry about keeping the food hot. And keeping it safe to eat. Now, you don't want your food sitting out on the counter for 4 hours and expecting it to be safe after that. It's not going to be. You're going to have to keep it serving temperature that entire time. And if you have refrigerated stuff, you want to keep that below 40 degrees. Or not below 40. I think it's like 44 degrees, something like that. You want to keep that in the 40s or below. Not freezing, ladies and gentlemen, but you want to keep.
You don't want frozen potato salad.
You know, but you do want to have things at a safe serving temperature as well. So keep in mind food safety from prep all the way through to serving. That's a very, very important. You'll make a lot of people sick if you don't watch it.
Yeah, because like even when I'm using like my stone ground mustard on my meat, like I buy several bottles because like I buy different bottles from the pork to the chicken, and so like. And I buy it in the squeeze.
Yes.
And so that way, like, I can just throw away the bottle.
Right.
I'm not transferring it from meat to meat to meat. I'm just using, like, on this, you know, and I try to put it on there at once. So I'm not putting it on there, stopping, rubbing it, picking it up. You know, I try to do that with the rub, too. Like, I don't put my hand down into the rub.
Right.
You know, I pour it.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
That's a good one. That is a great one. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, because
I'm sure a lot of people do.
Working in the restaurant industry, like, you know, you don't want to be touching everything.
I learned what about food safety from Sonic. Yeah. I worked there 2 weeks, and they were like, cross-contamination is a no-no.
Yeah.
You know, like you get fired like on the spot for cross contamination.
Yeah.
And I've not seen it, but like that's how much they drilled that into our heads that's a. So if, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to eat at Sonic, just know that they train people to keep you safe. So
Yeah. Yeah. Like in all the packaging, like I always open the packaging in the sink, and then like I scrub the sink down.
Yeah.
Like after I'm done, because I don't want those
antibacterial
I don't want
stuff,
those
yeah.
bugs like traveling on the counter, and then wipe the like any path I've, worked on my way to wherever I'm going with the meat, I clean because I don't want it traveling.
A lot of people don't worry about the food safety aspect of it, and I see it. Like people on Facebook selling their food. You know, like
ain't buying it.
no. Like I take that.
You did buy tamales.
I will buy some. Like there's certain types of food you don't get here in America. And tamales like that. I'm telling you.
Yeah, see, I'm not a tamale fan.
Now, I've never been to Mexico, but I've been to Texas, and you don't find tamales like that here. They were awesome. But anyway, I'll buy me some tamales off the Facebook. I don't care if they're safe.
Like I'm not even potlucks. What if people have like 40 cats and they let them climb on the counters?
Absolutely. Yeah, I never really thought about that until
like what if they have like those hairless cats?
Oh,
and their buttholes are on the counter,
like leaving little Hershey kisses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But
you gotta think about that stuff before you have a potluck.
Yeah, because we are definitely thinking that if you've got so
our cat's not allowed on the counter.
No, ma'am. And if he gets up on the counter, it's he goes in timeout.
Even the kids, no kitties on the counter.
That's right. And that's not just a food safety issue. That is a ick factor that you think about your cat, ladies and gentlemen. Your cat, when it goes to the bathroom, it squats and buries in a litter box. It shits in a box, and it gets that shit on its feet. And so wherever that cat's walking, you're getting shit everywhere. And so we don't like cats on the counters or tables or anything. I have let that cat walk around up on this table, and it makes me cringe every time I see it. So, we do wipe things down. Yeah. But the food safety is a big one. And I didn't realize how important that was to me until the graduation. And the graduation we did a couple years ago when I burnt my foot, I didn't realize how important it was to me until I was sitting there thinking about, okay, well, we rented this place all day, and we're going to have the food sitting out all day. I know I don't want people getting sick when they leave.
Yeah, because it wasn't just our family there. It was like
it was multiple families,
people's family and friends there.
And friends, yes. Yeah. And so I didn't want to make anybody sick, and that's why we got the Bain Marie's, is because, if I didn't care, I could just set the meat out on the counter and let it, have at it, guys. But I wanted to do this more than once. I wanted to be able to serve people, so for anybody that feels bad for asking, don't. I will tell you no if I don't want to do it. But we love doing it, and so I wanted to continue doing it, and I thought, well, we'll just buy the shit so we don't have to buy it later, or we don't have to rent it, and now keep in mind we have 1,000 square feet here, so I have nowhere to put this shit, and so our Bain Marie's are sitting in their original box that that they came shipped in, and they're on the kitchen floor.
They're just kind of awkward to
there's nowhere to store them. Like we'd have to put them up on a shelf, and
I would like to get totes for them though, something a little more sturdier.
I want to get a shed, but that's for a different story.
Yeah,
but or different
shed just
podcast.
For our smoking supplies.
I'm gonna get a shed just for my podcast.
Yeah,
like a she shed, but it'd be a he shed. But no, or coffee shack in the backyard.
Coffee shack. Yeah.
But we wanted to talk about smoked meats today because we love smoked meats. Barbecue season's coming up. We wanted to give some tips and tricks, and you gave away not your recipe per se, but you gave away your your
Rub.
rub recipe. We told people how we do our pork and chicken, and told people a couple good stories. And is there anything else that you want to talk about? When we were planning out this show, I had no idea what to talk about, because to me, like, I don't have very much to say about smoking meats. I love it, and I love smoked meat, eating it, but
Well, and you know what's a really good quick thing to smoke, which I think we've smoked it, is the smoked queso. We did that.
no, I haven't.
I thought
had
we
that.
did it, like where we put it in the pan and it was all the different cheeses
We
and the
may
meat.
have. We may have.
I may have just threw it in the oven.
Yes,
But I
we
thought
did
I
that.
put it in the smoker.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, the smoked queso it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's a quick, easy thing. And you don't have a lot of cleanup because you just put it in a pan and throw it in there.
I love smoked turkey. You know, with Thanksgiving, I love smoked turkey for Thanksgiving. I love it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, because turkey kind of sucks, but you know,
I had some turkey the other day. It tasted like ham. I'm pretty sure it was a turkey loaf.
turkey that tastes like ham. That's,
Yeah.
you know, we can share that. I looked it up the other day to see if you can find a raw ham. You know, like at that point, it's not called ham. It's called a leg or a hock or whatever. But I wanted to see if we could go to the butcher and get a ham so we could prepare it ourselves, so we could cure it in. Now, I don't know how the hell we're going to cure it other than maybe a big old barrel of salt. I don't have one of those, and I'm too cheap to buy one. But I wanted to try that one day, like see if we could smoke a ham, see what that's like. And you know what? We could do it. We could film it.
Yeah.
And we could show everybody, hey,
We smoked a ham.
yeah, and it's one of those things. It's uncured, so if we do this, we got to cure it too, and that takes months in salt. So we have to brine it for a long time. Now I don't know this for sure. I just know that's how ours are made when we get them from the store. They've been cured, and I'm sure there's a fast way of curing them, but
I'm just picturing this barrel of salt and we're just putting hams in it.
man, that's how they did it back in the old days, you know.
There's got to be something more modern.
Don't you remember playing like Oregon Trail when you were a kid? Mm-hmm. Well, that's what they did on the Oregon Trail. That's how they stored meat. They stored it in salt and carried it around the country with them. And
That's probably why they all died of dysentery.
no, that was from water.
Oh.
Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, we have to have a history lesson here. Anyway, I like so the biggest thing with smoked meat is in my opinion is safety. The biggest pain in the ass about smoking meat
Cleaning.
is the cleaning. But
You know what a good trick is? Like I just found this out like a month ago, is to put it in the bathtub. Like initially, like get you some hot water and some Dawn dish soap. Let it soak in the bathtub because it's a bigger space unless you have like a huge ass kitchen sink or like a mud room with a big old sink,
like,
you know?
Yes, like a laundry.
Yeah. But that's how I do it. I soaked them in the bathtub. Then I brought them to the kitchen and cleaned them because it was a bigger space where they could actually lay flat.
Yeah, I
soak.
didn't really think about that, and I was spending half hour cleaning the pans.
Yeah.
So it.
Yeah.
So is there, you didn't really want to share anything else? I don't really have anything else to talk about. I wanted to give away a recipe, but we're not stingy with the recipes. If you want to know, just ask. Like if we have anything that you'd like that's not, we haven't talked about today, like smoking meats, if you've had some of our other food and you want to make it at home, just ask. We like sharing recipes. We also like it when people come over to eat our recipes because they quickly find out that they can't do it like you do. So, I think smoking meats, like, I don't think that's one of those things. I think we could teach anybody how to do it like we do it.
Yeah. Like
Because-
nobody really taught us. We just
Yeah, we just jumped in and started doing it. So,
But like I said, like I grew up watching my dad smoke meat.
I mean, that's my advice to you guys. If you guys just want to, if you want to smoke meats and learn how, trial and error is the best way I know how. You can't watch a video of a pit master and think you can barbecue.
I'll tell you a really good one to watch though is Hey Girl Hey.
Hey Grill Hey.
Hey Grill Hey.
Yes, they have a lot of
She
badass recipes too.
is awesome. Like I've got some of my brine recipes from her, which brine's just basically salt and
water,
sugar.
but yeah.
Equal parts salt and sugar, because it helps break the proteins of the chicken down, which keep it moist. But she's got like a YouTube, a Facebook.
Yeah.
And so
I really enjoy her recipes. There's a few recipes that we've gotten from our friends from Hey Grill Hey
Yeah.
that we've incorporated into our cooking.
yeah,
But like I said, if you guys want to know anything, or if you want us to elaborate on anything that we've talked about here with Smoking Meats, we are not pit masters, but I promise you, Ashley's food is second to few.
I thought he was gonna say it sucked.
No, I was going to say second to none, but that's obviously not true because there's certainly better cooks out there. But
Yeah.
I don't know of any. I've not tasted, like, even at restaurants. Like when we go to restaurants, I don't like we have done this. We have ate food at restaurants, and I'm like, I bet you could make it better at home, and then we've done that. So.
But I do know, like, I mean, Cascone's, like, I'm not good at Italian food. Like,
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I promise you are. I've had your lasagna.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's something better out there.
Let's smoke a lasagna.
Maybe.
Well, we just came up with that on this show right here, right now, about smoking
You heard it
meats.
here first.
We're going to smoke a lasagna, and we're going to let you guys know how it is. And with that, we'll see you next time.
Bye.